Okay. Hi. Hi, everybody. How are you this morning? It's another edition of the Alex Bennett thing here, and we're coming to you once again live from Shelburne, Vermont, right off of the lake. We'll show you that to you in a few minutes. I thought I would do just another quick show this morning. What the hell? Why not? Just for the fun of it. Have we got enough light in here? Is what I'm wondering. Or would it be better if I turn my face a little bit more this way? There we go. That's better light because the light's coming off the lake. Anyway, the hat. I'll explain the hat to you. Last night we went out to dinner, and I was wearing my cap, and as I always do, I had my cap to girlfriend, and when we walked out of the restaurant, I forgot to ask for it back. So either she has it or I don't have a cap. But we're staying in a room right now that has it's an African motif. Really, I'm serious. The pictures of animals all over the walls and wallpaper of the South African veld and whatever. And these these hats were sitting there. So I figured it's the only hat in the house, so since I'm wearing hats these days, mainly because, I don't know, do you like this look? You really like it? It's not that I mind being bald. It's just I'm wondering, Anyway. There we go. There's my cap. Pretty cool, huh? Pretty cool. Wait a minute, let me get my other thing going here. As you know, I'm doing this in the rough. Yesterday I would have liked to have done this show. Actually, I forgot to turn it on, but maybe I will do it today if we run into it again. What they're having up here is a huge, giant balloon festival with people taking a big giant, these big giant balloons they fill with hot air and so on, hot air balloons. And we ran into a whole bunch of them taking off, and I got some good video on it, but I don't know. I'll probably be able to show it to you on Monday when we go back. Anyway, I've just been trying to rest. I've just been trying to take it easy. Let's see here. Ralph Jones says, way cool. Oh, okay. I'm glad it's way cool. I wonder how many people expect that I will actually show up here on a Saturday. By the way, all the previous shows we've been doing from up here, as soon as this one is over, I'm going to do away with one of them, like the earlier one, because these things are not meant to be forever. But anyway, it's funny, I'm doing the show here, I'm doing it from my iPhone. By the way, the show from the iPhone yesterday looked better than the one I did from the iPad because it has better quality and it's more high def. I'm looking at the picture right now and I'm amazed that we're even able to do this. Okay. But anyway, so yesterday the iPhone for some reason clutched up about, I don't know how many minutes in, something like 28 minutes in or something, and then we had to start it over again, but I couldn't get the phone going, so I went to the iPad, and you can tell if you look at the most recent one before this, and then the one before that, you can tell the difference in the quality. It's quite a bit nicer. We already have 71 people online, and I haven't even told anybody about this. Well, good. Good morning, Alex, says Shane Worley. Original Steve says, what's the temperature there? And always you dress with a windbreaker. It is not warm here. In fact, last night it was kind of really cold up here, which is a pleasant relief from the way it's been in New York. I don't know how it is in New York right now. I haven't looked. But man, yesterday here it was nice most of the day. It was very, very reasonable and cool and nice. And I was so happy that it was as good as it was. And then last night, in fact, I had to close the windows because it was just getting too cold. So it's really nice. I'm alone right now because they went for a hike. And I just didn't feel like going on a hike first thing in the morning. It's not in my DNA. I would have liked to. But if they had done it a little bit later, what they do is they go, let me take this alpha here for a second. You're going to see my thumb every now and then because, you know, these iPhones are, in fact, let me turn this upside down. And now that should be okay. Because my thumb has a problem over here, but and most of the stuff I have to get to is on the other side, so this way you won't see my thumb as much. If I go to the outside camera, see across the lake there? That's where they are. They're about there, hiking, and there's a wonderful trail that we took last year that goes all the way in and is really quite beautiful. But that's where they are right now. And this is right where I am here, luxuriating in the mansion that they own, the mansion. It's a really nice home they built here. They built it about 25 years ago. It's about 25 years old. And they built it to their own specifications, and it is just a lovely home. And they're such lovely people to put up with me, especially now in what is not my best state that I've ever been in, but, you know, they've been very kind and very nice, and it's been a wonderful trip. And yesterday we went to, and I should have actually put this out live, but we didn't have time because we were on our way to dinner. But there's a big balloon festival here, and we saw the balloons taking off and being inflated. So I got some video of it, but I didn't think to go live with it. But later on today, we may go and see the balloons again, and if there is a good enough signal. And everywhere in this town, for some reason, you would think that in Shelburne, Vermont, there wouldn't be a very good 3G signal. But except for right where we are here, and I don't know why there's a bad signal here, there's a good signal everywhere. It could be that I could send back some live pictures of the balloons. And at night, they take the giant balloons and they light them up. So they're all lit. And, it's quite spectacular, quite wonderful. Let's see what some people are writing. Tommy Yamaguchi says, lake looks great. I spent a summer of 1990 swimming in it. Well, it's still polluted then from you, Tom. No, just kidding. It's a very nice lake, actually. It's a very pristine lake, and I think they work very hard to make it pristine. Let me see here. I want to get a little more, frame myself a little better. There we go. Who else is writing? Mike Campbell, nice lake. Well, let's see here. This stream looks better than when you're in the studio. It could well be. You have no idea. You know, I mean, it amazes me. I was thinking of just saying to hell with show business, saying to hell with radio, all right? And just starting a thing called Where in the World is Alex Bennett, and just going everywhere there's any kind of a signal, and having people try to figure out where I am. I know I'm ripping on Matt Lauer, but either that or just follow me around the world as I do live programming. But I just don't know if I would get good signals everywhere. And then once you get to Europe, this would cost me a fortune because the bandwidth, they sell you like 50 megabytes of bandwidth for $100. It's a ripoff, of course. What I would do probably is get myself a European. That's the idea. When I'm in Europe, buy a European phone, and then I get the European rates, right? And then everything's fine. Oh, look, there's a motorboat. Let me here. We want to let you see everything that's going on. Let's see here. There's a boat. See, do you see the boat, folks? There it is. Speedboats. See, now you know I'm officially on a lake because you got a speedboat there. Actually, it would be nice to have a little boat here and be able to be nautical. But that's fun. This is where we are, by the way, for people who didn't join us yesterday. This is our friend's home. and it's a very nice home. It's right on the right on the shores of Lake Champlain, as very few homes are. There aren't a lot of homes right around here that are on Lake Champlain. And see, when I try to do this, let me see if I can do that. No, that makes the background shows up. When I point at another place, it's very hard for me to get my face in when there isn't enough sun on my face. If there was an equal amount of sun on my face and so on, you'd see some wonderful stuff. Let's see here. Original Steve. Stanley Siegel does something like Where in the World is Remember Stanley? Oh, I see. Ronnie produces AM New York show. That's my ex-wife. Used to produce his radio show, television show. Didn't work out too well for her. And the people who were throwing trash in it then? Oh, were there people throwing trash in it then? You know, we've gotten better about this sort of thing over the years. Not great, but we've gotten better. And so, you know, we'll... but I think it's a very clean lake. I'd swim in it in a second. And then I'd probably pee in it because, you know, when you hit the cold water, you got to pee, right? And then you feel guilty. Just don't take a dump. That's all. Anyway, let me see here. You know, I can actually change the look of this picture. It says here I can go to antique. Look at that. Look at that. See, it's antique. Or I can go black and white. Wow, I've got everything on here. How about Super 8? There we go. We'll go back to normal. Here, there we go. I mean, this is fun. This is really fun. Let's see here. What else we got? Leona Larson, good Saturday morning. Good Saturday morning to you too, Leona. Lenora, excuse me, Lenora. You have to understand, I'm reading this from a distance, and I think I need my eyes checked again. In fact, when we were driving up, I suddenly realized I think my distance vision is going. And I was finding it a little bit on the blurry side, so I have to, first thing when I get back, I'm going to my eye doctor and getting the whole thing taken care of, because I you know, I don't want to feel like I can't drive 300 miles and see anything on the way. I mean, I can see cars and stuff like that. I could prevent an accident, but I'd like to be able to read signage from a little bit further away. So maybe it's time to go with the glasses, huh? Let's see, there's 74 people watching this right now. Yesterday we got up to, 108, I think it was, when people finally checked in. Does it have Zenith Chroma Color option? Let's see, well, Super 8's about as far as it goes. There's the Night Shot, right? There's the Super 8. See? You see how it's got some, like, marks in it, so it makes it look like Super 8. Let's see here. Antique. Antique's kind of nice. Black and white. And none. So there we go. In any event, we're having some fun here this morning, and I'm just talking to you. You know, some people have said they actually like these little shows better than the other show, just simply because it's very simple. If I could take some calls or get a better interaction or something going with people, I think I would really enjoy this. But the fact is that I don't, and it makes it a little bit difficult to just to talk. And I read chats, however. So if you want to chat, where's the 3D? No 3D. Does it have the Zenith Chroma Color option? No. That's about all that people are writing right now. Okay. Let me see here. What else? And then we went to dinner last night. That was exciting. Actually, not a very good restaurant. I had the chicken and it was dry, and then a girlfriend had the steak and it was kind of dry and a little sinewy. The only thing that was good is our friend Charlie. He had the duck, and the duck was okay. So this is what it's come to, huh? Me telling you what we had for dinner last night. And I've been sleeping a lot. I've been taking Lunesta to put me to sleep so I can sleep a full 8 hours. I've been having sleeping problems lately, so it's nice to come up here and be able to sleep. I could use about maybe 5 weeks of this, and not even say to myself, should I worry about money or anything like that? Should I worry about my future? I've been thinking a lot about my future. And I don't know. We've had some very interesting little offers of things that don't really make you money that would help this show, for instance. Major business publication would like us to start doing putting the audio from this program on their website, and but do it for 2 hours a day, which as you know, we've moved this down to an hour plus. So we don't know. By the way, this is a special Saturday edition. You do realize that, don't you? Yeah. Original Steve says, we all have sleeping problems, Alex, and we're all worried. Oh, well, wait a minute. It just jumped down, and I can't see where that went. We all have sleep. That's the trouble with this damn chat, is I can't. If it jumps, I lose. Original Steve, we all have sleeping problems, Alex. Okay. Shauna Worley says, we just like hearing what you have to say, your life experience and all that. Your book should be done like an oral history, like the Bill Graham book from Rob Greenland. I think you said that yesterday. There's part of me that goes, who the fuck am I? Right? Who really gives a crap about my history? Is there enough in it that makes it interesting? You get kind of discouraged when you see that your life maybe had some interesting things in it, and Justin Bieber has a bestseller about his, and he's only like 19 or 20. I love these 19 or 20-year-old kids, the Miley Cyruses and so on, who write a biography about their life. So I was born, and then I went to school, and now I have a rock business going. End of book, sell million copies. I mean, so I don't know, what story do I have to tell? Who really cares who Alex Bennett is? I've had a career that's been in the passing lane all these years. It's not Howard Stern's life, and it's not Regis Philbin's life. Although I probably had more interesting moments in my life than they have. But what makes it compelling for anybody who want to hear about me? That's the problem. Alex, you're sounding like Wallace Shawn at the end of Woody Allen's Radio days. I don't remember that. Oh yeah. But doesn't he have some kind of phrase he says of beware bad evildoers, whatever? You're right. Wally Shawn says, someday they'll never remember us. He does say something to that effect. And the funny part is, Woody Allen did. I do. I remember all those old radio people and so on. They were my main influence. If it weren't for Jack Benny, I probably wouldn't have cared about doing this. If it weren't for a lot of the kids shows that I used to watch, I probably wouldn't be caring about this. So it's kind of strange. I disagree with Wally Shawn. People do remember they don't remember the individuals. For instance, there was a guy, you talk about the Lone Ranger, which of course was recently a big failure. We all remember Clayton Moore, because Clayton Moore was the television Lone Ranger, but we forget who the original Lone Ranger was, and I'm trying to remember his name now. He went on to become a movie director. Not George Stevens. Maybe it was George Stevens. It was the first Lone Ranger. I do know the first Lone Ranger went on to be a movie director. The next Lone Ranger, the biggest Lone Ranger on radio, was a guy by the name of Brace Beamer. And nobody will ever remember Brace Beamer, and yet kids like me all over the United States woke up when we were up every day, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, we would tune in to Brace Beamer being the Lone Ranger, with Fred Foy as the announcer. And the funny part was, Fred Foy later years became the announcer on the Dick Cavett show, and then he became the newsman on the Alex Bennett program over at ABC. And I got to know Fred Foy. I got to know the guy who was the Foy. With the speed of light, and if Hardy Hi-O Silver, the Lone Ranger rides again. Come with us now, those days when and that was the guy. And I got to know him. I was thrilled. And then he brought in, I had a boss, I'm trying to remember his name now. He was the head boss at ABC Radio. And I got to know him because obviously he was my boss. And he was the voice on the Green Hornet. He was the announcer on the Green Hornet. And I'll remember his name probably after this is over with. But I had the two of them on together talking about doing these two shows. Now, here's the thing I don't think you know about the Lone Ranger and the Green Hornet. They're related. They're related very strongly. Okay, here's the chronology. John Reed, okay, is the Lone Ranger. He gets ambushed in that valley by the Cavendish gang. He's rescued by Tonto. He then puts on the mask and becomes the Lone Ranger. Now, he had a brother who also died in that valley, in that canyon with him, and his son was a kid by the name of Dan Reed, and he had a horse named Victor. Everybody's horse had a name. You had to have a name for your horse. Tonto, what was it? Tonto was Scout, right? The Lone Ranger, it was Silver, and it was Victor for his nephew, Dan Reed. Well, now, here's how it goes. Then they started a new show called the Green Hornet. It was started by the same people that started the Lone Ranger, all right? So they would take, I was told by Fred Foy and my ex-boss, they would take scripts from the Lone Ranger, change all the names in it, but keep the plot pretty much the same. And then it was a Green Hornet script. If you think about it, it all makes sense. Let's see, there was a horse named Silver, there was a car named Black Beauty. There was a sidekick named Tonto. There was a sidekick named Kato. All right. There was and in one episode of the Lone Ranger, the Green Hornet on television, the Green Hornet's father, who is Dan Reed, you ready for that? Okay, or is Britt Reed rather? Is Britt Reed is told by his father, the then older Dan Reed, as they're looking at a portrait on a wall of a man on a big white horse wearing a mask, that was your granduncle. So the Green Hornet and the Lone Ranger, they're related. And they're related also by the fact that a guy by the name of Fran Stryker, who started the Lone Ranger at WXYZ in Detroit years ago, see how much I know about radio? WXYZ in Detroit, it was where were we? WXYZ in Detroit, and then I just heard some people come in. WXYZ in Detroit, and then they did another show, and the other show was the Green Hornet, and it was all pretty much the same thing, the same set of deals, except it was modern day. And so here's the chronology: Lone Ranger's nephew is Dan Reed. Dan Reed is Britt Reed's father. Britt Reed is the Green Hornet. Got it? Good. See? Now you can tell everybody that piece of trivia at the next party you go to. So far, 85 people just heard that story. Only 85 people will ever know that story. Don't spread it around. Anyway, let me see here. What else? Are they back? I think I hear them out there. Wait a minute. Let me take the camera and go see if they're back here. Hold on. Are you guys back? Oh, they're back. Wait a minute. Let me turn my camera in. That's the window. Well, wait a minute. Let me go inside. Um, you guys are back already?
Oh, yes. Ah, a little snack.
A little snack. By the way, I'm wearing this cap because Marjorie took mine.
Well, that's a good one for
That's
you.
right.
Hey,
That's
Yeah,
right. That's
yeah.
the safari
These are our hosts
Sisters.
again today.
Good
Yeah.
morning.
And we just came back from an invigorating walk.
Now,
on
tell them
Shelburne
how
Farms.
far you run, though, Charlie.
Well, it's not run. I ride my bike.
You ride your bike.
100 miles.
100
A
miles you
century
ride a
ride.
bike.
Yes.
God, I
Several
have
times a
nothing
year.
but the greatest of respect for
Well, it's when you get gray hair, you stop running and you take the course of least resistance.
you. Well, this
That's
was, of
good.
course, the least resistance. I wanted to sleep in. How was the walk?
Walk was great. We had wonderful pictures. We had, they have draft
Oh, here-
horses there today,
Here comes a, yeah.
brown Swiss cows.
Oh,
What else
really?
did we find?
Donkeys.
We,
We
sheep,
found sheep,
sheep. We're at the Shelburne Farms,
donkeys.
Shelburne, Vermont.
Oh, I thought you were going over to just the regular path.
No, we
place.
went to Shelburne.
Oh, so I missed Shelburne Farms?
There was a 3-mile little walk.
Oh, okay. We can't go back there later?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, you
go
can.
there. Actually, they're having
You
a
never
horse
give up
run-
on Penn State, do you?
No, no.
No.
And nobody that went to Penn State gives up on Penn State. Right, Belle?
That's right.
We are Penn State.
That's right.
Yeah.
Never forget it.
Okay. I'm doing my little show for everybody, which is, I'll go back out on the, here's my studio. Boy, I thought I heard people coming in. Come on, turn around. There we go. So anyway, it seems to be working okay. So we don't seem to be having a problem. How many people are watching now? 88, 88, 80. I can't read anymore. See, I told you my eyes are going. 86, 86. So anyway, let's read some of these from you. Oh, Hal Neal. You're thinking of Hal Neal. You're absolutely right. Boy, original Steve, what is with you? The guy who was the announcer on the Green Hornet was Hal Neal. George Seaton didn't produce the Lone Ranger. George Seaton was the first Lone Ranger. That was the name I was trying to think of. He later went on, I think, to become a director and a producer. So, anyway.
Want some coffee or bagel?
Coffee or a bagel? Yeah, sure. Why not? Why not? I keep going with this thing. Yes, you're absolutely right, though. It was George Seaton, though, did not produce the Lone Ranger. He was the Lone Ranger. Green Hornet Radio was great. Tommy Maguchi says there'll be more watching the archive. Yeah, absolutely. What I'm going to do is get rid of yesterday's so that this one just stands on its own. And I would like to think that maybe I could do this from that balloon festival. I wish, in fact, that I actually had my iPhone here available because it would be lovely to show you some of the pictures I took yesterday, and I took great video with my GoPro Cam, which is going to be my favorite camera because you can throw it in your pocket. It's got this really wide angle on it. So when I went out and I wanted to show all these balloons in the field, I could show them. You'll see them on Monday. I'm going to bring the video in, and whatever. Let me see here. What are other people writing? Alex, how many people other than Gilbert Alan Combs have been listening to you since 1989? 69, you're saying. 69. Jeez. I don't know. I got to get glasses. I can't even read with these anymore. Do you have my cap, by the way?
What cap?
Remember I gave you my cap last night?
Oh, it might be in the restaurant. I don't remember.
What?
Didn't you take it after?
No.
No, it's where we went for lunch.
What?
We went. You gave me the cap when we went to lunch.
No, I gave it to you when we went to dinner last night.
I don't have it.
It isn't in your purse?
No.
Look in your purse. Oh, boy. Oh, I lost a cap. I have to go buy one today. Anyway, so I have coffee. How long should I keep going here? We have 90 people. Shall I try and wait until we get 100? That may be forever. There are a couple of different little things here, and I don't know what they're for. Oh, there we go. That's what that's for. Okay. Excuse me, folks. I'm playing around with this stuff. Again, I can make these look like different things. Super 8. I kind of like Super 8 because I think it has a little video noise going on in there. It looks like it's shaking a little bit. And then we have, of course, the that and thank you. Could you go look in your purse just to see if it's there?
My purse is right here.
Oh, really?
It's not in my
And it's not in your purse. Okay. So, Original Steve, who seems to be the keeper of the archives these days, says, back to your radio discussion. Actually, Alex, this is why I'd like to call Barry Gray, who was a radio icon and who talks about him. Boy, I'm having a hard time reading this. And who talks about him to this day, other than us. And Alan Combs, he made Larry King look like a non-something. I don't understand what that means. Barry Gray was the best interviewer I've ever heard. Okay? And if I learned to do interviewing, it was sitting at his feet. I consider myself probably one of the best interviewers in America. But only because I sat at the feet of Barry Gray, who learned and taught me that interviewing isn't an interview. It isn't like, and so where did you grow up? And how old were you when you first discovered sex? And what was your mother's name? And, that an interview is a conversation. And that if you simply converse with someone, you see, a lot of people do interviews, sit there interviewing somebody and then going, what's my next question going to be? That's what's going on in their head. If you don't think about that, if you just hold a conversation, the next question will come automatically. And that's what I learned from Barry Gray. And Barry Gray was the best there was in this business. There's no question in my mind about it. And I don't think anybody has come close as an interviewer. I don't care how great they say, Charlie Rose, what a great interviewer. No, he's really not a great interviewer. He's more about Charlie Rose looking good than anything else. Barry Gray was a great interviewer. Barry Gray betrayed me at the end of my stay at WMCA because this was a guy who I kind of think I was his protege. I mean, he was always giving me advice. I did his Saturday night show. And when finally WMCA decided to fire me, it's like I never existed. So, that was Barry. Excuse me, I'm eating a bagel while I'm doing this. We're up to 87. We could make it. We could make it to 100 today. Not many people know we're doing this, or are going to find it out when they read their email later on in the day. Hey, Worley, no napkin? Yeah, hey, what about a napkin? They can't hear me. They don't care. And that has been doing his only show he can do into his iPhone. Original Steve says Barry Gray started talk radio in the late 40s. I don't know. There may have been people who did stuff like that before that, but radio up until the late 40s, when it started having the encroachment of television, was having to find other things to do. And where a show like a talk show probably wouldn't have been a big deal in radio in those days because they were doing drama and they were doing variety shows and things like that. It was really a question of radio becoming its own form. And as its own form, the talk show then came into being. I wasn't in New York for the beginnings of Barry Gray. I was in San Francisco, and we had a guy by the name of Les Crane who did talk. Oh, I get a napkin.
You
Huh?
want orange
An orange juice would be nice too. Thank you. See how well I'm taken care of here? See how well? Welcome to Breakfast with Bennett. Anyway, truly Breakfast with Bennett. Anyway, so you had the beginnings of radio, and I remember in San Francisco, Les Crane, who this was a guy who kept taking the names of various things. First, I think he was a disc jockey by the name of Johnny Robin. Then he became Johnny Raven, and then he became Les Crane. He kept taking the names of birds. His real name was Les Stein. And he did that. He finally went to New York and did a show for a short time on TV. But that's the first real talk show host of that sort that I can remember. I see people in back of me. Oh no, I'm seeing. Oh, thank you so much. This is great service here.
That's right.
Yeah.
Service with a smile.
Okay. Do you have turnover service? Anyway, let me see here. Where's Dick Bright? Dick Bright's back in San Francisco. He was the band leader for the Alex Bennett Breakfast with Bennett's. See, this is what it's come to, me talking to my iPhone. Let's see here. Can't you get a Bialy with a Schmear? Nova Scotia sable, sturgeon there? How about some good whitefish? Look, I'm doing with what I got here, and this is very nice. Major Tom says, on the tip, something at times? I don't get that. Oh, San Fran, says Major Tom. Okay. We're up to 91. We had 100, I quit. Oranges. Okay, what other stories can I tell? I've already been on for 36 minutes. It was almost becoming a complete show. But there were a lot of people in radio in those early days of radio. See, I was born on the end of radio. I was born in 39. Radio died, God, I would say about 48, 49 when television started to come in. And by the 50s, radio was having to find a new thing to do. Radio had been doing drama, variety shows, musical shows. I mean, it was just like it was television without the pictures. And then all of a sudden, here comes television. They can't compete with television on a lot of those things. So they had to find a new thing to do. And people came out with things like, well, it's probably nothing but records, top 40. That had been done prior to television, but by radio stations that didn't have a budget, okay, didn't have the big money, didn't have NBC behind them or CBS. So there would be some stations that would play what they called recordings. In San Francisco was a station called KJBS, but that was always considered kind of a cheaper format. But all of a sudden, somebody came along and said, well, if we play just 40 records, maybe that'll be a hit. And I remember in San Francisco, the first top 40 station to come along was a station called KOBY, Kobe. And it was an overnight sensation with kids. I mean, we just loved it. And it was terrific. Getting more coffee. Boy, what service I'm
That's
getting
right.
here. This
Got
is
you the
terrific.
perfect view today, perfect weather.
Perfect view for the entire audience to see. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so it became a sensation overnight. Every kid, every teenager listened to Kobe. And then some other people came in and knocked Kobe off the top of the heap, but it became the number one station in San Francisco almost overnight just by playing the same 40 songs over and over and over. Talk didn't really start happening, I think, until Les Crane came along, the kind of talk we know talk to be. And his was an aggressive talk, and it was, pretty show busy in the way he did it. But anyway, let me see here. Richard says, anything involving payola. I could get into that later. What am I doing? I'm writing the book is what I'm writing here. This is great, says Major Tom. Radio, exclamation point, Major Tom. Major Tom writes a lot. Is it Drano or Drano? Let me see here. Watch out for pigeon. That pigeon. Is there a pigeon somewhere? I don't think so. Okay, let me see here. This is great. Okay, well, I'm really not. I shouldn't even pay attention to the fact that I'm talking to you guys. I should just eat my breakfast. Anyway, we're going back tomorrow. So enjoy this while you may. Didn't your station in Houston promote a Beatles concert? Yes. Did I MC it? I think I MC'd it. Any good stories involving ticket giveaways, DJs, and hot chicks? Maybe I should save that for the book. Houston was a place. I'll just give you this hint. Houston is where I first met up with what would be called payola. I would have people come in and say, "Hey, would you like a refrigerator?" I was offered a refrigerator once if I'd play a record, and I went, "Look, if it's a good record, I'll play it. If it's a bad record, I won't play it." I said, "I'm not going to ruin my show because I want a lousy refrigerator." And then I played a song. I won't say which one it was. And it became a big hit. It became a huge hit, and I liked the song. That's why it became a huge hit. That's why I played it. It became a huge national hit. And the promotion guy said, "Can we get you a refrigerator?" Again, I was offered a refrigerator. I guess he must have had a whole ton of refrigerators sitting in a storehouse somewhere, and he had to get rid of them. And I said, no. I said, I played that record because I liked it, not because I wanted anything out of it. And then he said, well, how about a blowjob? And then I started thinking, because I didn't need the refrigerator, but my insecurities needed a blowjob. But I'll tell you the rest of the story in the book. But payola was... See, the funny part was when payola started, there was nothing illegal about payola. What happened was guys like Alan Freed were taking money to play records. There was nothing necessarily illegal about that because there wasn't any law against it. But one day somebody wanted to get Alan Freed, and so they made a big deal out of it, and they came up with the term commercial bribery. All right? And that's how they got Alan Freed. But up until that time, nobody thought there was anything wrong about taking money for playing records. I mean, morally, I think you have to say to yourself, there's something wrong about taking money for playing a record. But, to this day, if let's say a radio station wanted to say to the music industry, hey, look, what we'll do is we will... play your record if you pay us money. And then they went on the air and said, the music you hear on this radio station has been played for financial consideration. There'd be nothing against the law with that. And I never wondered why some station didn't say, hey, we'll become the payola station. In other words, it's very honest, it's very open, you pay us money, we'll play your record. And you tell the audience that, hey, the records you hear on this show, on this station, have been played for financial remuneration, and they could do that, and a station could make a lot of money, probably just getting money from record companies. You'd hear some crappy music, but you might hear some stuff that you weren't going to hear. But you could do that. There's nothing. The only thing that's illegal is playing music for money and then not telling the audience you're doing that you're getting financial consideration for it. That's why you see at the end of like a lot of game shows and stuff, tons of disclaimers about what they've done and what they haven't done, and certain things were done for certain reasons, so that there's no lying about what they're doing. So anyway, we're 6 away from 100. If we get to 100, 99. People are joining us every moment here. One more, and I will feel this had not gone for naught. By the way, if you're just joining us, all you have to do, if you want to see the beginning, is once the show is over, it takes a little while to process, and you watch the whole thing from the beginning. Or right now you can scrub back and use this kind of like a DVR and see the beginning of the show. Now what am I
Now
getting?
you're getting homemade banana bread.
Now I'm getting homemade banana bread. Look at this. Wait a minute. Look at this. Hold on a second. Wow. And I was doing so well. When I went into my depression, I wasn't eating. And I was losing weight by the pounds and pounds slipping right off of me. And now I come up here and they're fattening me up. That's good. Oh, it's good. Okay. Let's see here. Vermont looks great. Tony Magno says great. Tony Magno says, oh no, he doesn't say anything. He says Vermont looks great. I think I may write the Alex Bennett story, says Original Steve, as told to Alex Bennett. Okay. Anyway, how we doing? One more and we'll have 100. I'm just sitting there at 99. I'll probably go down to 98 just to drive me crazy. So what other stories do you want to hear, folks? You really want to hear the payola story, don't you? You really want to hear about the sex for whatever. I think I'll save it for the book. I really will. And it wasn't necessarily me. It was like entire radio stations of guys lined up at a hotel door waiting to go in and have sex with the same hooker. Yeah. And I'm above that. Somebody said to me once, do you take payola? I said, I would never think of taking payola. He says, well, you'll probably never get it because who's going to want to pay you to play anything? That was the worst put down I ever had. Let me see here. Still at 99, man. I'd just like to see that thing go to 100. Somebody call up a friend and tell them to join the show. You're making me hungry. Where's my bagel? How about Ron Jeremy? What about Ron Jeremy? In porn, the payola is you don't get laid. Okay. Let me see here. Original Steve, yuck, sloppy fourths. Is sloppy tenths. Okay, I'll tell you this much. Promoters would come to town. I'm telling you the truth about this. Promoters would come to town and they would put a hooker in a hotel room. I know in one particular situation where the guy actually passed out tickets. I mean, literal tickets. You know, those things you buy in a big roll because you're going to hold a little fare or something. Well, those kind of tickets. And they were double tickets. She'd rip one off and put it in her pocket, and then she would get paid for how many tickets she had at the end of the day. I'm not kidding you. And this happened at one Nashville music convention. Guy had a girl up in the, and I won't say who, because he was a pretty good guy, but he, this was the kind of stuff you had to do back in those days to get your records played. And he had a girl in a hotel room, and literally the guys were going up, handing her a ticket, getting blown, fucking her, doing whatever, and then it's on to the next guy and the next guy and the next. She must have done 100 guys at that convention. Well, it turned out she was under 18. A lot of trouble. A lot of trouble. Mainly for the guy who did the thing. They weren't about ready to arrest 100 hungry disc jockeys. Um, Boingo, 100. We hit 101 actually. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on a second. There's action happening here. Let me. Here is girlfriend,
Hi.
and she's. Is that actually mowing? Where are you going? Wait a minute. Over here is Charlie. He's the handler.
My God, a runaway tractor.
Gee, I was just telling these people all these stories about payola.
Here she comes.
Here she comes. How bucolic, huh? You know, we really don't get this doing the regular show, do we? Isn't that exciting, folks? Let me get back to my little studio here. Oh, see, excitement on the show, folks. We never can do this on the regular show, now can we? Let me see here. There we go. Are you folks enjoying this? They look super by the lake. Okay, where were we? Oh yeah, Alex, you were telling the stories about sex. But anyway, that's it. Finally, the guy got arrested and he got thrown in jail for what in those days was called the Mann Act, which was an act that made it against the law to traffic women across state lines for immoral purposes. And oh, we're down to 98. Well, now maybe I should go off the air because we lost a couple of people. Plus, it's getting to be. I've done this for almost an hour. Wow. Oh. So he got time in jail for that, and he was. I won't say who he was because he was a very famous producer of music, and a hell of a nice guy, oddly enough. But that's the way business was done in those days. A record promoter would bring a hooker into town, and then everybody would have their way with them. The next thing you know, song was a hit. And sometimes they just did it so that they would be loved and adored by the local disc jockeys. And they also had something on them, a little bit, you know. But those were some wild days back in Houston, Texas for that sort of thing. I never saw anything quite like that ever again in my life. But in Houston, it was pretty normal. Let me see here. Boy, Major Tom's writing a lot. Oh, good, the food is back. Yeah, right. Let's see here. I got to remember that I'm running a little short of you in that this, let me see here. How far are we behind? We're probably behind by about a minute or something like that from when I'm doing it. Now, let's see if I can keep talking until the hour, and then we will have done a normal show. So what do we have today? We had a boat. We had a tractor. We have me eating. A few sex stories. What have you. Anyway. And listen to this. Hear this? I'm all stuffed up here. I don't know what it is. Anyway, I gotta go out and buy a cap now. Because she lost mine. And it was the good one, too. It was the one I really liked. It was the U.S. Open. But there's a new U.S. Open in a couple of weeks, so she'll just get me another cap. Anyway, let me see here. Anything else you guys want to know? We're starting to lose audience now. Now we're down to 97. Yummy, less than a minute ago. Ha ha. Oh, good, the food is back. In honor of Jack Parr, you could go out and start that lawnmower. Yeah, Jack Parr once said that one day the biggest act in show business will be a guy who comes out and starts his lawnmower and everybody will applaud. On the stage of Carnegie Hall. Let me see here. Can I stretch this out another 6 minutes? I could probably stretch this out another 6 years if I had to. But I just think it's funny that this is what my career has come to. Me, an iPhone, and you. So we go back to the city tomorrow. We drive back. I don't look forward to it. It's 300 miles, and the hardest part, oddly enough, is getting out of New York City. New York City, it doesn't have an exit, a traditional exit, and it really is kind of like a kind of weird. We were getting up through New Jersey, and you turn left here, and you turn right here, and then we missed that. And then we had to turn there, and we had to go there, and it's not very easy. So getting back may be just as hard. I thought it was going to just be one road all the way down. And it isn't. It's one road turns into another road, goes off another road. Then I was using my iPhone Motion X thing to get me from one place to another, and boy, it was terrible. It was just terrible. Roads that were blocked off that it said it wanted me to turn onto. It was not an easy trip. Plus the fact that I was just exhausted. And I didn't even know if I could drive it. Now we're up to 100 again. I didn't know if I could drive it, to be honest with you. So it was quite a trip up, and so I'm not looking forward to the trip back. But I could sure stand to stay here for about another 5 weeks. I could do the show every day like this, right? Would you people enjoy that? Let me know. Just chat in there and say whether you would enjoy that. Loving it, Alex. Thanks for letting us in your private time. This isn't private time. I made it my public time. Let's see here. Major Tom, ha ha. Major Tom, funny. Major Tom, yay. Major Tom, is Major Tom the only one on here? Major Tom, I want an Energizer. iCars suck? What? You got to write better than that, Tom. I can't understand what you're saying. But we're almost running out of time here. We're up to 101 people. But that's 7 shy of our height at yesterday. So you know what I keep hearing out here? Fish jumping out of the water, and it's really nice. It's really nice. Now, what I should do probably for the last couple of minutes of this. Original Steve says, invite all of us down to camp there, and it will be 60 type love-in for the youth guru all over again. I don't ever call me the youth guru ever again, Steve, please. Anyway, we got about 3 minutes here, so maybe what I should do is I should try and take this thing out on the lawn until we finally run out of signal. That would be fun, right? Tony says he's never camped before. Why does that not surprise me, Tony? And it seems that there are only like 3 people on here who are even chatting at all. The rest of you are just watching. We're at 105 people. 3 more and we'll meet yesterday's number. Just watching nothing. Just watching a guy sitting at a table outside up in Shelburne, New York. Well, let me see here. Let's see if we can finish this show off by taking a little walk and seeing what we can accomplish here. See, I'm in the dark here, but as soon